Hi Libra, thank you so much for checking out the channel. We are officially 4 months old. That's crazy. That's insane. I never thought we'd make it this far. Please remember to subscribe, to comment, and to like this video, as well as follow me on Facebook and Instagram at claire.voyant.queen and Twitter at _Claire_voyant. I would greatly appreciate it. Please remember that I read energy in and around you. This could apply to you. Yes, this also could apply to your partner. Take what resonates and leave what does not. Please also check out your other placements, such as your sun, your moon, your rising, and your Venus for more messages and more content. But thank you so much for watching. Hi Libra, welcome to your November 2020 love and relationship reading. Let's jump right in. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra. Libra. For November of 2020. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra. For November of 2020. Tell me about Libra. For November of 2020. Okay. Ooh, this card wanted to flip out. We're going to take it. Past life relationship. Let's keep shuffling a little bit more. Tell me about Libra. 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 For November of 2020. Tell me, ooh, we have another one. We have chemistry. Tell me about Libra for November of 2020. Tell me about Libra. Libra for November of 2020. Jesus Christ. Okay. What's odd is I have been working with this deck for a minute now, and these cards typically do not jump. They do not jump. You know, if you look at all of my past readings when I'm using this deck, a lot of these cards aren't jumping. You know, I have to physically pull them out, but they just wanted to really jump for you. So that's something to take note of. I'm not going to pull any more because there's already a lot on the board here. But we do have past life relationship. You have known each other before. We have chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. We have children. Your love life is being affected by children. And we have new love. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. So it does feel, you know, we have new love here. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. There might be a lot of chemistry with this person. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. And that's probably because this is a past life relationship. You have known each other before. So it seems like there's a new connection coming in here. It feels like it's incredibly powerful, incredibly strong. Because you have experienced another lifetime together. How amazing is that? We also have children on the board. Your love life is being affected by children. This card could appeal in a couple different ways. There could be like physical children, a part of this connection or a part of the past connection, or this could be this relationship is somehow being affected by like childhood experiences that either you've experienced or your partner has experienced. To me, this card feels more so like a side note rather than something that's like deeply, deeply involved in this connection. But let's pull some spirit animal cards. We'll kind of clarify what's on the board and we will keep it moving. Wow, I feel like what's odd is I was feeling like very mellow when I was just beginning your reading, Libra. I was feeling like really like peaceful, like almost like very like, you know, like meditative, like it felt like very nice and like calm. And now I'm just like, now I feel like I'm on like 100. I just want to go, 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 go. I don't know if that's something that you're experiencing, but I have like a lot of energy all of a sudden. I don't know where that came from. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra for November of 2020. Tell me about Libra. Ooh, hang on. There we go. Tell me about Libra for November of 2020. I just saw the Cobra. I feel like I also saw the Wolf earlier. Tell me about Libra for November of 2020. Okay. One more shuffle here. Tell me about Libra for November of 2020. Tell me about, golden egg. I'm going to take it. Tell me about Libra for November of 2020. Damn, the hawk. We're going to take it. Libra, these cards are really talking. Both decks are really talking. I feel like whatever you're going through is pretty intense. There could be that's like a lot that's on your mind right now, or a lot that you want to say. And that could be why I'm feeling like this, like, it feels like my batteries are fully charged. They're at 100. I just want to keep going. I want to keep talking. That could be like how you're internally feeling when it maybe comes to this connection. Tell me about Libra for November of 2020. Okay. Please tell me about Libra. Libra for November of 2020. Libra, you are the stingray. Okay. Your partner, please tell me about Libra's partner. Is the dragonfly. In your emotional connection, Libra, in your emotional connection, we have the starfish. In your physical connection, in Libra's physical connection, we have the shark. Okay. Okay. I need to catch my breath. God. Okay, I'm gonna have a sip of water. Okay, one thing that I'm already noticing is that we have 3 water cards on the board, and we have 2 air cards on the board. And then obviously we have the golden egg, which is a spirit card. I'm going to read all of them out of the book because I like you to have as much information as possible. But let's start off with the stingray, and we'll go from there. The stingray also came up in, what was it? I believe the stingray came up in Gemini as well. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Okay. The stingray, developing confidence, sense of self, or spine. The stingray card represents a pivotal point in personal growth. The moment has come when the stingray must decide between the old, easy, comfortable, and familiar, and the new, challenging, uncomfortable, and unfamiliar. Pressure from family and friends makes the decision even more complicated. No matter what choice is made now, it's inevitable that this dilemma will surface again and again as the force of Dharma growing within the stingray is too strong to ignore. One thing that's always interesting to me is that when this stingray card comes up, it's one of the only cards in the deck that has really highlights not only one particular chakra, but all of the chakras, right? We talk about our root, we talk about our crown, and we talk about all the chakras in between. And especially too, since this golden egg card is out here, and the golden egg represents our 4th chakra, or the heart chakra, which is that little green dot right there. This situation might have something to do with the heart, Libra. This might have something to do with self-love. It might have to do with love of another. It might have to do with self-acceptance or self-identity, or something around essentially your heart space. Sometimes when my 4th chakra is feeling misaligned, it feels incredibly heavy. My chest physically feels heavy. So just pay attention to your body, pay attention to what your body is trying to tell you. But it does feel like, there's some sort of, again, it talks about a pivotal moment, right? It talks about a pivotal moment in transformation when we can choose to essentially do what's easy and what's comfortable versus what's hard and what's challenging. And what's hard and what's challenging is what makes us grow, right? It makes us transform. It makes us grow into better people. I feel like there's something that might need to be. I do want to say it feels like something that needs to be expressed. It needs to be expressed when it comes down to self-love or the love of another or identity or something along that line. And it feels like it's very, very heavy for you. Also, one thing that I kind of took note of that I thought was really interesting was this. Pressure from family and friends make the decision even more complicated. And because we have this children card here, it could be that, whatever we're learning to acknowledge, whatever we're learning to express when it comes to, I have a strong feeling that the expression is coming from identity, right? It feels like children might be involved somehow, some way, right? Pressure from family and friends make the decision even more complicated. So this could be where that physical, I have children aspect comes in to play here. Okay, let's keep going. Let's look at the dragonfly. The dragonfly is your partner. Okay, let's see. I'm also in a really good mood. Really good mood. I feel awake, I feel alert, I feel good. Okay, dragonfly. Master of light, illusion, and the mind. This is your partner. The dragonfly is an ancient and ethereal creature that awakens a sense of wonder in all. The dragonfly is a symbol of the mind, as it is always moving, shifting, shimmering, and changing. When the dragonfly appears, it's worth considering the quality of your mind and the perception. Are they restless or still, dreamlike or crystal clear? The situation at hand may be different than it appears at first glance. The dragonfly reminds us to calm the mind so the light of wisdom can shine through. So this is kind of, to me, suggesting that your partner... When I thought of this, I thought about a little bit of a hot and cold energy. If this is a newer connection, if this is a newer relationship, and it feels like an incredibly powerful relationship, seeing as there is this past life relationship card in here as well. It does feel like whoever this is essentially could be hot and cold or could be shifting and moving. Essentially, your connection with them, your relationship with them is it's a certain way one moment and then it's another way the next moment. It doesn't feel like it's stagnant. It feels like it's constantly shifting, constantly moving, constantly evolving is what it feels like. It feels like it's never the same, which is kind of interesting. It has a really nice beauty to it, but when it comes to stability and security, it doesn't feel incredibly secure. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel stable. Let's look at the starfish and your emotional connection, and then we will go from there. Starfish has also come up a couple times too. Let's see. That's not right. Here we go. The starfish and your emotional connection. Beautiful, alluring, superficial, or shallow. The starfish is a natural and exquisite beauty, mesmerizing to all. Being around someone with starfish energy is a thrill, like you've been put under a spell of divinity itself. The problem is these creatures have been reliant on how they look and what other people think of them for so long that they may have forgotten their deeper callings. When this card appears, it's important to ask, am I being swayed by outward appearances? What dreams have I put aside to please others? What's really interesting to me is that both of these cards like kind of talk about some sort of like magical quality, right? Even like look at the backgrounds and look how similar the backgrounds are of almost like these like straight horizontal lines that are very like peaceful and very calming. It kind of to me suggests like almost like there's like peaceful and calm kind of ultimately relate to like an air energy and a water energy, which is funny because both of these cards are air and water. But this to me, you know, talking about the starfish, it talks about, you know, being around someone with starfish energy is a thrill, like you've been put under a spell of divinity itself, right? It talks about that. And then it also talks about the dragonfly essentially being like an incredibly like moving and shifting energy and almost like having like a wonderment quality about it. It feels like very like magical. This connection feels very magical. It doesn't necessarily feel stable, but it does feel incredibly magical. And it feels like it's constantly shifting and it's moving and it's evolving and it's never actually the same. It's never stagnant. It's never the same. What's also interesting is that the starfish, you know, really talks about like physical appearance, right? Physical beauty. And what's interesting is like, why is a card of physical beauty appearing in an emotional connection? It could be, you know, one of two things. It could be that like, either we find the emotional connection incredibly beautiful, or maybe it's that, you know, we're kind of neglecting the emotional connection and we're just actually just physically attracted to the other person. But it does feel like there's, again, a strong magnetic connection here because it is a past life relationship and you do have chemistry, right? Chemistry is on the board. Let's organize this. God, I am so fucking OCD when it comes to this shit. Okay. Last but not least, the shark. Let's pull that guy up. This is in your physical connection. Okay. Ooh. How am I passing this one up? Here it is. Okay. This is in your physical connection. Directness, exposure, revealing true nature and desire. The shark is only dangerous when we don't acknowledge it. This card indicates that something big needs to be exposed. It's lurking in the depths and creating tension. Shark energy takes over us when we are hesitant to be honest, to be totally ourselves, or to say what we really want. It may be tempting to continue pretending nothing is wrong, but when shark energy is at play, we feel its presence encircling us. This is kind of wild to me, especially, you know, going back to the fact that I felt very like peaceful and very calm and like I was kind of like in a meditative state, like just beginning your reading. And then when I started pulling cards and when all these cards started falling out, I essentially like felt like I was running on 10, and I feel like there's just so much going on. I feel like there's so much that I want to say, and I feel like that energy is very present inside of you. But what's interesting is that I feel like it's not being expressed because we have the stingray and we have the golden egg, and we're kind of going back to the idea about essentially, wow, I need to like physically catch my breath. This is a lot. It feels like a lot about self-love, love of another, identity, like something that needs to be expressed when it comes to these things. And it feels like it's all going on in your mind. Like you're doing all of this processing and like all of this cognition, like going on in your mind, but it's not physically being verbalized is what it feels like. And so I feel like that's why the shark energy is here, because essentially it's suggesting, what was it? I'm just going to reread it. The shark is only dangerous when we don't acknowledge it, right? It feels like there's something that you're not acknowledging. This card indicates that something big needs to be exposed, right? It's lurking in the depths and creating tension. Shark energy takes over us when we are hesitant to be honest, to be totally ourselves, That is what I'm picking up on. or to say what we really want, right? Oh my God, I want to do all this talking, but I'm not physically talking. It may be tempting to continue pretending nothing is wrong, but when shark energy is at play, we feel its presence encircling us, right? It feels like there's something that needs to be expressed. It feels like there's something that really, really, really wants to be expressed. One of the things that, Kim Krans does when she like illustrated these cards that I find really incredible is that, we have like the bottom of the card being incredibly dark and we have the top of the card being incredibly light, right? And essentially the shark has the ability to see, both like in the abyss and like in the shallows, right? And so it kind of talks about everything that's really like hidden in the abyss, right, is really brought to light and brought to the surface, like in the shallows, which I think is like a really cool kind of metaphor for it. So I feel like that's why this card is coming up, because there's something that needs to be expressed that's not being expressed, right? And it's something about this dynamic. This is a newer connection, a lot of chemistry. It's a very, very strong magnetic connection because it's a past life relationship and it's kind of changing and fluctuating and moving and shifting. And it feels like there's a very like magical, like almost like dream-like quality about this connection. And it feels like you have something to express, something to say, but it feels like it's not actually being said. Let's go for the golden egg. We'll go for the hawk, and then we'll pull some tarot and we'll kind of clarify what's on the board. Whew. I feel like, I don't know why I'm talking so fast. Wow. This is crazy. Okay, the golden egg. Message at the center of the heart, the unstruck sound. Within the golden egg lives a precious sound. Deep within that sound resides a message. The sound cannot be heard, nor the message discerned, until we retreat from the noise of modern-day life. The magical essence of the golden egg needs warmth, quiet, and time to unfold. No rushing, pushing, or grasping. Find a place of deep and restful ease, perhaps through yoga, nidara, or meditation. If you do not yet have a meditation practice, take some time for introspection or contemplation. When the mind begins to settle and the breath is calm, ask the question that weighs heaviest on your heart, staying open to any response you hear. Engaging with the energy of the golden egg is an advanced practice, and it requires becoming intimate with our very essence and comfortable with vulnerability. There's something here about vulnerability, you becoming comfortable with your own vulnerability. When a feeling of tenderness or gratitude arises from deep within you, know that you are well on your way. Your chest may swell like you are seeing an old friend that's been away for a long, long time. Listen to the message they've been waiting to tell you. It's really beautiful. I'm really not going to dive into this card as deeply because I feel like it really speaks for itself, especially with the description in the book. I feel like this is going to resonate for each person just a little bit differently, but I feel like it's going to resonate nonetheless. Let's look at the hawk. Okay. The hawk. Watchful, all-seeing messenger of divinity. The sharp eyes of the hawk watch our every move. This keen-eyed bird has the ability to see every little detail as well as the bigger picture. When this card appears, fate has its eyes on you, and the winds are shifting. It is said that the hawk carries news upon its wings and is sent from divinity itself to deliver it. The message should not be taken lightly. Though it may seem small or insignificant, it will eventually redirect your course. Wow. So it does feel like, again, there's kind of like there's an all-seeing, kind of a watchful energy about this reading, especially with the hawk here and the shark here. One thing is they're both kind of, predatory animals. And so there's kind of like almost like a hunting aspect going on here as well. I'm not seeing like, you're not seeing like the fish on here. You're not seeing like, I don't know what a hawks eat. Like they eat rabbits. You're not seeing like the rabbit on here. So you're not seeing necessarily like predator and prey dynamics, but you are seeing essentially a lot of predatory animals, which to me kind of suggests like watching, waiting, like, like just kind of, I just wanted to use the word studying, you know? So there's kind of like that dynamic of like, it feels like this connection is like from afar, is what it feels like, right? It feels like it's a newer connection. There's a lot of chemistry and it's a very strong magnetic connection, but it feels like it's, which almost suggests that it's incredibly close, but it feels like physically, it feels like from a, like it like feels like it's at a distance, right? And it feels like there's something that wants to be expressed when it comes to like the self, right? And that it's constantly evolving, shifting, and changing. There's a lot of dynamics going on here. It almost feels like a puzzle that just keeps shifting, is what it feels like. I don't want to waste too much time. Let's pull some tarot and we will go from there. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra for November of 2020. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra for November of 2020. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra for November of 2020. Okay. Couple more shuffles. Tell me about Libra for November of 2020. Tell me about Libra for November of 2020. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, I'm going to pull the top card. We have 8 of Cups in reverse. Okay. Please tell me about Libra for November of 2020. Libra, in your current position, we have the Hierophant in reverse. In your partner's current position, we have the Magician. Wow. In your past connection, we have the Page of Pentacles. In your present connection, for Libra and their partner, we have the Two of Rods. And in your future connection, we have the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. What's always funny to me is that, you know, the Six of Pentacles, I'm going to jump into some other cards first, but I just wanted to point this out, is that the Six of Pentacles, especially with the scale here, it really talks about balance, right? And so when the Six of Pentacles appears, it's kind of a card more so of Libra, for me at least, even though it's like an earth sign. So I think that's kind of interesting. Also, speaking of signs, we have the Hierophant and we have the Magician. The Magician is an embodiment of Gemini and Virgo energy. And the Hierophant is an embodiment of Taurus energy. So you could have one of those placements, your partner could have one of those placements, but that's kind of what's appearing on the board right now. Sorry guys, my camera battery died, but I was immediately drawn to this Eight of Cups here. So the Eight of Cups upright, you know, talks about someone who has neatly stacked and organized their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions, right? And essentially they're walking away from an emotional situation, right? He has his emotions organized, and he also has the moon up here, and the moon kind of being very symbolic of our subconscious, of like our intuition, right? And he's kind of moving away from an emotional place and he's stepping into a more spiritual place. However, when it comes in reverse, it's kind of indicating a return, right? These cups are now highlighted versus like the moon, right? My center of attention immediately goes to the cups. And so he's kind of returning back to these cups, right? He's returning back to his thoughts, his feelings, his emotions. He's stepping away from that spiritual side of life and he's returning to an emotional situation that he might, that's interesting. I want to say that he put on the back burner, or an emotional situation that he like put on the back burner. So it feels like, you know, this could have been always present in your mind, but it didn't necessarily have your attention, right? So I feel like you're acknowledging something that was an emotional situation for you. Over here we have the Hierophant, right? And the Hierophant is a leader, right? You know, we have the President of the United States, we have the principal, we have your boss, we have, you know, some sort of like religious leader, like a pastor or something of that nature. But the Hierophant is an incredibly high up position, and it has almost a religious and spiritual undertone to it, right? The Hierophant really rules like social normalities, right? It rules marriage. It rules like social constructs that we've created and that we've built for ourselves. And when it's in reverse, right? Sometimes, especially when this talks about a connection or when this talks about a relationship, it can mean that there's like a downgrade in a relationship versus an upgrade in a relationship. But two, it can also indicate that this relationship might go against social norms or social constructs, right? This might be a very like atypical connection. This might not be a normal connection. Which is pretty interesting. I'm also kind of hearing that someone could not be essentially listening to their intuition, right? Listening to like their spiritual guides is kind of what I want to say. But that's kind of in your current situation. So with the Hierophant kind of appearing like this, and with the Stingray card originally appearing, it feels like, honestly, Libra, it feels like you might be a little bit lost. Not necessarily in a bad way. Not necessarily in a negative way. I almost feel like you're searching for a purpose, like you're searching for like direction. You're like searching for like essentially the path forward. You know, that's kind of like what it feels like. And I feel like in order to find your purpose, find your direction, find your path forward, essentially, like, I feel like this is a key step in finding it. That's interesting. I'm really being directed towards these keys in the bottom, and essentially kind of the expression of self, the expression of love, the expression of identity is kind of a key forward for you. And to start really listening to your intuition, listening to a higher power. You could also have your family and friends kind of help you in this scenario as well. When it comes to our dragonfly, when it comes to our partner over here, I do think this person there's like a magical quality about this. Remember when we were talking about the dragonfly and the starfish and really talking about essentially like its magical essence, like its magical quality? There's a lot of like wonder about it. And like what comes up but like the magician, right? Magic is like the root word in magician, right? He's taking all of his elements, right? He's taking his pentacles, his cups, his swords, his rods, and he's essentially using them. He's using what's around him and he's manifesting his own reality. He's creating his own reality. He's essentially pulling the rabbit out of the hat, you know? And so what he's produced for himself is like abundance, right? Look at all these beautiful, beautiful flowers and all this beautiful foliage, right? Essentially, this person is manifesting. They're manifesting and they're creating what they want out of their life. They're manifesting what they desire, what they want, what they hope for, you know? But it also feels like this person is a little bit like, It feels like this person is a little bit magical in their own right, because we have these two cards here and we have the Magician. Like, really, this whole kind of like, even this past life relationship card, like on the side of the board, like really like talks about magic and like spirituality. So like, I think that's kind of interesting. That might be like a dynamic or like an aspect to this individual. Over here in your past connection, we have the Page of Pentacles, right? Pages are, you know, they have a lot of maturing to do. They're not yet knights, not yet queens, not yet kings. They're the lowest man on the totem pole. And essentially, it doesn't mean like necessarily in a negative context, like that's a bad thing, right? It means they're learning, right? It means they have maturing to do. It means they actually physically might be very young. But pages too are often cards of communication, right? We do have a page here, so this could be reminiscent of like a Virgo. It could be reminiscent of a Taurus, or it could be reminiscent, I keep wanting to say Gemini, LOL. It could be reminiscent of a Virgo, a Capricorn, or a Taurus. But these are almost like students, right? Essentially, this is someone who is studying this pentacle, right? He's studying security. He's studying stability. He's learning all about it. He's essentially planting the seed to grow into a king, you know, to grow into something a little bit more prosperous, right? And so he's learning. He's taking his time and he's learning. Pages can usually indicate messages. So in the past, there could have been communication here with something involving stability and security, maybe in regards to this connection, maybe in regards to something else, but that is very viable. Let's see. In the present moment, we have the Two of Rods, right? Which to me, this card always suggests like possibilities. Like I see this very much as similar to like the Fool energy, except it's a little bit more, it's less kind of like, you know, the Fool is like, that's interesting that I'm bringing up the Fool. So this could be, again, an Aries could be involved, or there could be like Fool energy somewhere in this reading. But, essentially, this card really suggests possibilities to me in terms of like going off and pursuing, right? He's on this like pedestal. He's on like top of like this castle, and he's standing up and he's like looking out over the ocean, looking out over the mountains, and he has the whole world in his hands. Like, how beautiful is that, right? And he has these rods that are firmly planted and firmly mounted. And essentially, he's looking out in terms of like seeing all of his options, right? And I feel like he's contemplating. And he's thinking about it. Whereas the Fool is very much like happy-go-lucky, like, you know, I don't care if it's positive or negative, that kind of comes my way. I feel like this person is taking their time and they're really thinking and really reflecting before kind of pursuing a possibility, but like before like pursuing an option. But it feels like in this moment, it feels like incredibly like contemplative, which I think is interesting. Last but not least, we have the Six of Pentacles in reverse, right? The Six of Pentacles upright, you know, really indicates almost, you know, too, with like, I think about the Four of Pentacles, and I think about like, you know, greed, like giving and receiving, right? This man who clearly has a lot of money, he's really dressed very nicely, and he's very like balanced financially. He's giving stability, he's giving security like to the homeless and to people that need it, right? Not only is he bringing balance to himself, he's bringing balance to his community, right? When it's in reverse, though, you know, these pentacles are going to fall. All the security and stability is going to slip away, and there will be imbalance when it comes to the situation, right? When it comes to stability and security. So I think the situation could essentially, it doesn't feel like it's balanced, you know, which is interesting, because that feels more of like a present energy versus like a future energy. But it could be something that we're essentially moving in towards, going in towards. You have a lot of earthy energy on here, if you notice that. You know, we have the Magician, which could be Virgo. We have the Hierophant, which could be Taurus. We have the Page of Pentacles. And we have the Six of Pentacles. So, you know, this could be some sort of connection that is relevant to like school, is relevant to like work, is relevant to like some sort of project you're working on, but it feels like somewhere like where your energy and effort is really being applied, and it could involve money. It could involve money. But Libra, thank you so much for checking out your November 2020 reading. I hope some of this resonated for you. There's lots of dynamics here. It feels like a very complicated connection, but it feels like there's like glimpses of like really beautiful things coming in. But thank you so much, and I will see you in December. Adios.